biggest games, the best performances, expert analysis. You are Locked On Now.
What's going on, everybody? This is Locked On Now, local experts on the biggest stories throughout the NFL. I'm your host, Daniella Bruce, and thank you for making Locked On Now your first listen every weekday. On today's show, we recap Thursday night's matchup and we'll preview what's ahead for Sunday's Week 11. Let's get started.
The best performance.
Hold up.
The Atlanta Falcons have now lost 3 of their last 4 games after being shut out by the New England Patriots on Thursday Night Football, and they have now been outscored by a total of 68-3 in their last 2 games. Here's more from Locked On Falcons.
It proved another embarrassing loss for the Falcons as they were shut out by the Patriots on Thursday Night Football. I'm Aaron Freeman with Locked On Falcons. If you thought the Falcons would show up for their only nationally televised game of the 2021 season, you thought wrong. It proved another embarrassing loss for the team after losing by 40 points last week to the Cowboys. They were shut out this week, 25-0 by the Patriots. All 3 Falcon quarterbacks got into the game and each one threw a pick. Matt Ryan accounting for 2, Josh Rosen throwing a pick 6 in garbage time, and even third stringer Felipe Franks got in the game to throw his own interception in the closing seconds. If there's anything positive to say about this game, it's that the Falcons defense showed up holding New England's offense to just 19 points after they put 45 points on the Browns last week, and 6 of the 19 points the Falcons gave up came off their own offense's turnovers. Nothing positive can be said about the Falcons offense. It's now been 8 quarters without a touchdown and 7 quarters without any points. With time off to regroup before facing the Jacksonville Jaguars next week, we'll keep it locked here on Locked On Falcons, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Some big matchups to look forward to in this Week 11, so let's take a look at Sunday's slate.
The biggest game.
The Green Bay Packers know exactly what they need to do to beat the Minnesota Vikings this weekend. It isn't always this easy to find the biggest key to the game, but when someone scores 4 times on you in a game, it sticks out. Here's Locked On Packers with more how Green Bay can contain Minnesota's explosive run game.
Stop Dalvin Cook. You know, the guy who had 4 touchdowns in a single game against you last year. Yeah, that guy. I'm Peter Bukowski, host of Locked On Packers, and the key to victory for Green Bay this week in Minnesota at US Bank Stadium is slowing down the ground game. That is the key to the Minnesota offense. If you can make them play one-dimensional, Kirk Cousins is inevitably going to do Kirk Cousins things. The problem for the Packers defense, although it has been playing better, 34 points allowed to Kyler Murray, Patrick Mahomes, and Russell Wilson combined the last 3 weeks. The passing defense has been outstanding. The run defense has been anything but fixed under Joe Barry compared to what it was against Mike Pettin. Bottom 5 in pick a statistical category in terms of rushing, whether it's schedule adjusted efficiency, EPA per rush, or just the traditional metrics that are out there. Green Bay's run defense has not been significantly better. The great news is the Packers offense should be better this week. Aaron Rodgers will have more time to prepare. The Packers will know he will be the quarterback, and that makes it harder for opponents to rush if they can't stop your offense. In fact, the Packers' best run defense the last 2 years has been their offense. Stopping Dalvin Cook would take a little bit of pressure off Rodgers, who is still working back from COVID, and give the Packers their best chance to go into US Bank Stadium and get a win.
The Green Bay Packers have plenty of their own superstars to try and keep up with players like Dalvin Cook, and Locked On Vikings said stopping a key star is also Minnesota's key to victory.
Same as it ever was. The key to the Vikings beating the Packers has to be slowing down Davante Adams. What's up, everybody? Luke Braun here from Locked On Vikings. There's no Aaron Jones in this game, more than likely. The Packers are a little banged up on defense. This game is about Davante Adams and the Vikings secondary. Now, the Vikings have a reasonable chance to get Patrick Peterson back. That'll help. But the Packers historically, over the last few matchups with Mike Zimmer, have been really, really good at finding one-on-ones for Davante Adams, getting him into single coverage. That's a schematic thing and something the Vikings are going to try to prevent, but it's not something you can always automatically prevent just because you decide to. That is going to be the schematic key to this game. Can the Vikings slow down Davante Adams? Can they get brackets on them and make Allen Lazard beat them, make Marquez Valdez-Scantling beat them? That is the key to this game. At that point, the injuries for the Packers could mount, and then you can find a way to pull off the upset at home. For more detail on all of this, you can find the Locked On Vikings podcast wherever you find your favorite shows.
The Las Vegas Raiders host a big one on Sunday against another 5-4 team in the AFC as the playoff race heats up. Locked On Raiders says Vegas needs to lean on the arm of its quarterback to find a way to win.
I'm your boy Q, host of the Locked On Raiders podcast, with your keys to victory week 11 as the Cincinnati Bengals come to Las Vegas Allegiant Stadium. Both teams come in 5-4. Both teams come in on a 2-game losing streak. For the Raiders to snap that, they've got to ride Derek Carr's shoulder. They really do. The run game hasn't been there all season long for the Raiders, so just go ahead and go away from it. Of course, you got to sprinkle it in, but let Darren Waller eat. Get Derek Carr to Darren Waller. Get them going early. Get them going often. Let a superstar be a superstar. Offensively, that's how you got to get it done. Let Derek Carr be your leader. And defensively, you've got to slow down the run. Joe Mixon is a heck of a running back for the Cincinnati Bengals. The Raiders' rush defense has not been very good, so you got to tighten that up and don't allow any big plays. Don't allow the Burrow to chase big play event and extravaganza happen early and often in the game. If you can do that, the Raiders can snap that 2-game losing streak and feel good about themselves at 6-4 overall in this 2021 season. So that's the keys to victory for me. I'm your boy Q, host of the Locked On Raiders podcast.
We'll be right back with more Locked On Now, and we'll take a look around the league and at what else we can expect on Sunday. Built Bar is the best tasting protein bar ever. If you haven't tried a Built Bar yet, you are totally missing out. They say it's a protein bar, but I promise you it doesn't taste like one. You have to try one yourself to believe it. Most protein bars are chalky or waxy or just really don't taste great, but a Built Bar is soft, covered in 100% real chocolate. And when you bite into it, you know you're eating something different. It's more of an experience, and I swear it is one you will enjoy. Built Bars are low carb, low calorie, low fat, low sugar, and high in protein. So all of the healthy benefits on top of just being delicious. There are so many flavors for you to try, including coconut, raspberry, mint brownie, coconut almond, salted caramel, double chocolate, and cherry barcia. This month, Built is coming out with new limited time flavors as well every 3 to 4 days. So check out their website and check it often. You don't want to miss out on some great new flavors. Go to built.com and use promo code LOCKED15. That's right. If you use LOCKED15, you will get 15% off your order. Use promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at built.com. Welcome back to Locked On Now. We are going to take a look around the league and what we can expect to see on Sunday. We'll start with the Lions and the Browns.
Let's go around the league.
The Cleveland Browns host the Detroit Lions, who are coming off their first non-loss of the season last week. Locked On Browns says the biggest key for Cleveland is to not underestimate the Detroit Lions.
This is Locked On Browns host Jeff Lloyd with your Week 11 Browns keys to victory as the Detroit Lions come to First Energy Sunday at 1 o'clock. First things first, do not make a mistake and underestimate this opponent. Do not view them as their record 0-8-1, but easily could have beat the Baltimore Ravens, could have beat the Minnesota Vikings, certainly could have beat the Pittsburgh Steelers last Sunday. You need to get back to some sort of identity on defense. You went man, you went aggressive against the Cincinnati Bengals, and it worked very, very well. You went passive, you went soft against the New England Patriots, and they exposed you and beat you down. It's going to be a terrible, terrible day weather-wise in Cleveland on Sunday. Get the running game going. Dearness Johnson, obviously, hopefully with a big day. They say it's trending towards Nick Chubb, Demetric Felton possibly returning to the fold. Take advantage of what you do best. Get a victory that you absolutely need. Jeff Lloyd, Locked On Browns. Appreciate everybody for making us your first listen every day.
The Arizona Cardinals enter Week 11, hoping to get everybody back on the bandwagon after a loss to the Panthers last week. And Arizona still thinks it's the best team in the NFC. Locked On Cardinals has the key to proving it.
The Arizona Cardinals are looking to wash the taste out of their mouth after a bad loss. The Carolina Panthers in Week 10, in Week 11 on the road against the division foe in the Seattle Seahawks. Could be the return of Arizona Cardinals franchise quarterback Kyler Murray after missing 2 weeks with an ankle injury. But the Arizona Cardinals, Alex, they're looking to improve to 6-0 on the road. What's the biggest key for them to do that?
Keep Kyler off the ground. We're going to see Kyler Murray hopefully play, probably going to be about 80%, if not a little bit better. I say that Tom Brady has made a living off of getting the ball out fast. And how does that happen? Josh McDaniels or whoever is offensive coordinator sets him up for success game plan wise. That's going to be on Cliff Kingsbury's shoulders to have a game plan in place against Seattle that'll keep Kyler Murray untouched. He'll be able to get the ball out quickly and hopefully hopefully avoid any sort of further injury or at least aggravation from the injury he's sustained thus far to his leg. So when it comes down to all of this, no wins, no happiness, no joy if Kyler Murray's not out there. They need to do everything in their power to protect Kyler and still go get a W in the Pacific Northwest.
Be huge, because after this, they go into their bye week. Great opportunity to get healthy. And what better way to do that is on the heels of a big dub. We're previewing this entire game on our Friday podcast, Locked on Cardinals. It's Bo. It's Alex.
The Pittsburgh Steelers aren't sure who will be under center this weekend to play the LA Chargers, but Locked on Steelers says it doesn't matter. No matter who's throwing the ball, it will be getting the chances for the workhorse running back that is the key to winning this week.
The Pittsburgh Steelers have a big matchup trying to bounce back from their tie against the Detroit Lions with a tough game Sunday Night Football against the Los Angeles Chargers. The key to this week is going to be similar to the key last week, whether it's Mason Rudolph or Ben Roethlisberger playing. We've heard rumors that Ben Roethlisberger might be able to get back for this game, but even if he's not, you have to run the football. Get Najee Harris involved. Let him start to take over games. And yes, there's injuries to the offensive line. Kevin Dotson won't be able to play in this game. Maybe Trey Turner will be able to play in this game, but the Steelers have to get into a bully mode against one of the worst rushing defenses in the NFL this week. And then on top of that, they have to protect the football. They lost the turnover battle 3-0 last week in a tie game. This team has shown that as long as the offense does its job of scoring on possessions and limiting turnovers, the defense can win games for them. In a game last week where they had 3 turnovers, they lost the game. But in all of their 5 wins this season, they've thrown 0 interceptions. That's a huge factor in this game, and we'll talk more about this game in our Friday preview on the Locked On Steelers podcast. You can find on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Odyssey.
The Chargers offense has the firepower to go off at any time, but it hasn't always done that this year. Locked on Chargers says taking advantage of a Steelers defense that could potentially be without TJ Watt and Minkah Fitzpatrick is how LA beats Pittsburgh.
Can Justin Herbert and the Chargers offense get things going on Sunday Night Football against the Pittsburgh Steelers? What's up, guys? This is Daniel Wade here from Locked On Chargers, here with your keys to victory this weekend with a big primetime AFC matchup coming up. And for me, it starts with the Chargers offense. After 3 of the last 4 games have been poor offensive showings, Justin Herbert and Joe Lombardi really need to kick things into gear, going up against a Steelers defense that will probably be without Minkah Fitzpatrick, their best safety, and potentially TJ Watt, maybe the best defensive player in the league. So this week, the Chargers have to score some points because defensively, there are 2 guys on the COVID list as far as defensive linemen, Christian Covington and Jerry Tillery. That is going to play a huge factor. Joey Bosa is still on the COVID list, but could be activated on Sunday. Some young defensive players, especially on that defensive front, are going to have to show up against the likes of Najee Harris and the Pittsburgh Steelers offense. If those things can happen, the Chargers should have a great shot. But for our game predictions and everything Chargers, make sure to subscribe to the Locked On Chargers YouTube channel and also wherever you get your podcast from. Your team every day.
The Bucs have lost 2 games in a row, but Locked On Bucs doesn't think it has anything to do with teams actually being better than the Bucs. Our host tells us that Tampa can win just as long as they don't beat themselves.
Keep the opponents down to 1 team instead of 2 teams. That is going to be the key to victory for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this weekend. I'm David Harrison of the Locked On Bucs podcast, and for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, coming off of back-to-back losses for the first time in the 2021 NFL season, for the first time since November of 2020, a lot of the problems that the Buccaneers have been experiencing have been self-inflicted wounds, whether it be penalty, blown plays, or turnovers, giving the ball away to opposing teams. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are in large part responsible for their own last 2 losses. So keep the opponents in blue on the New York Giants side of the ball and don't make yourself the second team that you have to beat. That's going to be the key to victory for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. If they can get out of their own way, they should be able to come away with a win and break this 2-game losing streak. For more on this game and everything Tampa Bay Buccaneers, join me and my co-host James Yarko on the Locked On Bucs podcast 5 days a week, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And that's a wrap for us today. Thank you for making Locked On Now your first listen every day. For more on the National Football League and your team, make your second listens Locked On NFL and your team's local Locked On podcast. I'm Daniella Bruce, and this has been Locked On Now.